Welcome to Marshmallow's How to Melt Sisters of Parvos guide for Warframe 2021, hotfix 30.5.4. You can replace the word melt with whatever you'd like. I just wanted to differentiate myself from the many other guides you've probably already seen by now, but if you're thinking about melting in terms of shields and armor, then there's gonna be a lot of that in this video. If you're still not sure on what I'm rambling about, this is gonna be a comprehensive how-to on acquiring and destroying your very own sister of Parvos. Sister of Parvos hunting guide, if you will, and it's gonna be a long one, so sit back, get yourself some tea, Monster Energy, or Pepis. There will be a shorter quick guide version uploaded at a later date. Check the description for links and for timestamps to just about every section of this video. Before we begin, I'd like to make a few things clear. This guide is relevant as of hotfix 30.5.4. As Warframe receives more and more updates, there will probably be some changes, perhaps even significant ones in the future. I will try to include them in a pinned comment in the comment section, so be sure to check that out. I won't be covering specific Warframe builds and loadouts in this video. Those are going to be their own videos posted at a much later date. I will, however, include some general recommendations and tips so you have something to work with and apply to your own builds. Finally, I will be referring to the Sisters of Parvos as just Sister from here on. This will probably make things awkward down the line, but it is what it is. I'm sorry in advance. Despite the length of this video, the entire process of acquiring and hunting and finishing a sister, not even 5 minutes into this video, is a relatively simple 3-step-ish process. It mainly involves spawning a candidate, farming murmurs to fight the sister, and a railjack mission. Before we get to any of those, there are some hard requirements that you will have to meet before being able to start your hunt. The requirements are as follows. You must not have an active Kuvalich, and you must have completed the War Within as well as Call of Tempestari quests, latter of which is just pure cringe. Not gonna lie. Sister hunting is a lot like lich hunting, so if you've got a number of liches already converted / vanquished under your belt, you should be able to skip past most of this guide. But if this is your first time going against nemesis type bosses, fret not, I'll do my best to detail everything you'll need to know in a series of steps. Some of you may disagree here, but I feel that it is appropriate for this guide to first explore what a sister is with regards to her creation and mechanics, a bit of lore if you will. At the very end of Call of Tempestari, a cutscene plays showing the encounter between Vala Glarios and presumably Parvos Granum. Now admittedly, this next bit of lore is obtained straight from the wiki page, subject to future changes because it's Warframe lore. Parvos apparently invited Vala Glarios to be part of his Sisters project, a Corpus super soldier program where candidates are recruited by Vala to then be sacrificed in a way or have killed by the Tenno. They are then made immortal through Spectre particle technology. This explains the encounters you will have with your individual sister, because while you can weaken and even incapacitate them with your regular weapons and abilities, the only way to truly defeat a Sister of Parvos is by performing a mercy kill using your Parazon to sever her from the continuity, or just breaking the Spectre particle technology in a way. I still have no idea where we got these little stabby things from, but now that we've sorta established the Parazon's importance, let's delve into its mechanics and how to equip one with special mods called Requiem mods. Requiem mods are obtained from Requiem relics, which drop from certain enemies like Hounds or as a reward from Kuva-siphon missions. You can then crack open these relics by playing through Requiem fissures, which work much like any other regular Void Fissure mission. Once you have at least 3 different variants of these Requiem mods, you can equip them onto your Parazon by accessing it through the Loadout menu. These mods are what enable the Parazon to destroy a sister's immortality and ultimately enable you to either convert or kill her, but only if you have the mods in the right sequence. There's a total of 9 Requiem mods in this game, and which 3 you need and what order is pretty much left to RNG. Though the UL mod kinda doesn't count because of the way it works, but all you need to know for now is we can accelerate the process of trial and error in determining the correct Requiem sequence by collecting Requiem murmurs or hints. How we do that is something I will leave for later in the video for the sake of coherence. Since we've essentially learned what a sister is now and how to beat her, let's go and get one. To bring about the creation of a Sister of Parvos in the Origin system, one must first locate and perform a mercy kill on a sister candidate, which is distinct from the former. To do this, simply pick a mission with level 30 and above enemies that utilizes the new Corpus spaceship tile set, like Acheron on Pluto for example. Here's a list. Personally, I feel Hydra on Pluto to be the most convenient, but it doesn't really matter because as long as you have performed a mercy kill on the sister candidate, then a Sister of Parvos is guaranteed even if you fail the mission objective. Your job is to locate a Granum tribute in these missions and to enter the Granum Void by means of offering a Zenith Granum Crown. You should know how these things work anyways after playing the Deadlock Protocol, which is a prerequisite for Call of Tempestari. Be sure to kill at least 25 Spectres, which is the lowest rank that will qualify for rewards. Keep in mind that 25 Spectre target is per squad member, meaning if you were to, let's say, enter the Void as a 3-player squad, you guys will have to collectively kill a total of 75 Spectres, not 25 or 75 per player. Frames like Mesa are great for making quick work of the Granum Void, but keep in mind that the frame you use to mercy kill a sister candidate will later determine things like the Tenet Weapon bonus element, Ephemeras, and even sister resistances. If you find yourself limited by frame choice, then a Xoris, even with a build like this, is more than enough to get the job done. Just make sure you know how to use it. Once you've completed the Void mission and achieved at least rank 1, a sister candidate should spawn in about 10 to 15 seconds later. The location of the sister candidate will be indicated by a red marker on your screen. Simply head towards the marker, shoot the candidate until she is incapacitated, and approach her. You'll be met with a prompt asking you to perform a mercy kill as well as a preview of the weapon that will be generated with the sister if you choose to do so. This is the weapon that the sister will wield and be given as a reward if you decide to vanquish her, as will be detailed later in this video. The weapon will also be infused with a bonus element that is dependent on the progenitor Warframe, or the Warframe you use to stab the candidate with, basically. For example, if you used Chroma, then whatever weapon it is that your individual sister will spawn with will carry innate fire damage along with its base damage types. Here's a cheat sheet which I believe is still accurate for Sisters of Parvos through my limited testing. If there's any sort of exception or error here, please do let me know down in the comments. A couple of things to keep note of. In a squad, only the last player who damaged the sister candidate will be able to perform a mercy kill. The candidate will also despawn after 30 seconds regardless if she's incapacitated or left ignored. If you choose to proceed by mercy killing the sister candidate, a short animation will play followed by some dialogue. Simply complete the current mission or quit to return to the orbiter, where you'll be met with a short cutscene featuring your freshly generated sister. Now that we have one of Parvos' Onesans eager to destroy us, we can get on with the work of hunting her down. Remember that the only way to vanquish or convert a sister is by using a Parazon with the right sequence of Requiem mods. The Parazon will also help us to take down the sister's Hounds and collect Murmurs, but before we get to any of that, let's take it easy and hit escape. Yes, you should see an icon here right next to the Nightwave banner. Click on it and you will be brought to a screen featuring your individual sister with a bunch of info on the left hand side. Here's where we'll have to do some analysis to better prepare ourselves for the coming fights. Take note of weaknesses and immunities if and when they are there. A sister will typically have complete immunity to an element that corresponds with the progenitor Warframe. Meaning if you used Chroma to spawn a sister, then there's a good chance that sister will have resistance to fire, but it's not an absolute rule. A sister's first 3 abilities will be variants of existing Warframe abilities in the game, and this is also dependent on the progenitor frame. The final ability will be a movement based one such as teleport. One thing to look out for is abilities that proc annoying things like magnetic, in which case you may want to provision for by equipping your Warframe with an arcane nullifier, for example. Moving over to the center of the screen, you can see your sister showcased in all her glory. Quick tip, if she's got some fancy lighting effects or particles that kind of look like one of these animations I stole from the wiki site, then it means your sister spawned with an Ephemera. There's a 20% chance for that, and which variant you end up with is also dependent on the progenitor Warframe. Here's another cheat sheet in case you're interested in farming for one. Let's go back to the sister and take a closer look at that Hound. These robotic canines accompany the sisters and are what they use to establish control across nodes in the system. They're kinda like minions basically, and you will encounter multiples of them in sister-controlled territory missions. Mercy killing the Hounds will both help us to reveal the Requiems and lure out the sisters. And speaking of Requiems, this entire right section displays info regarding past mercy kill attempts as well as revealed Requiems and Murmur progress. What's a Murmur, Mello? I've heard you say that a few times now. A Murmur is basically fragments of a Requiem. Taking down Hounds and attempting mercy kills on a sister, regardless of the outcome, will award you with Murmurs. Gain enough and you'll reveal Requiems, which are required to eliminate the sister, of course. Alright, hopefully you guys are still with me here, because now we're going to talk a little bit about loadouts. Like I said in the beginning of this video, there won't be any specific Warframe builds discussed, but here's a general recommendation. I find that a Kuva new core set up for magnetic to be super destructive against the copious amounts of shields that the sisters and their hounds possess. I understand the general consensus of the community on magnetic as a status effect, but in the case of hunting sisters, I do feel it is genuinely useful. It also kinda goes without saying that any sort of armor reduction will be great, and while frames like Hildren or Nyx can be good picks, I've found that the best method for armor reduction, or armor strip really, to be a Kavat with the sharpened claws mod. Going this route of letting your companion take care of armor stripping does give you a lot more flexibility in building for more damage output, or survivability for example. Because the sisters at rank 4 even can deal an insane amount of damage, especially one wielding a Tenet Plasmor, at least in my experience. So some sort of tank build for your Warframe of choice is recommended if you're gonna run solo. If I do come across more setup tips that are worth mentioning, I'll include them in the pinned comment down below. Feel free to share your own setup ideas as well, I'd appreciate that a lot. Because there are some conditions and scenarios I haven't tested. For example, a sister with immunity to magnetic is something I haven't run into. Personally, I've fought against one with resistance to magnetic damage, and that actually made things a little difficult. So I can imagine a sister with immunity to magnetic damage to be quite a challenge, and that you'd probably have to take a different approach with regards to eliminating the shields, as they do regen really quickly if the sister is left unattended, even for a brief period of time. Once you have a solid build going and your Parazon equipped with the Requiem mods, we can finally go and fight a sister. Don't worry, the law in Warframe allows for this level of violence. This section of the video can be summarized as follows: playing missions on sister-controlled territories or nodes, stabbing as many hounds as possible to reveal the Requiems, aka Murmur farming, eventually confronting the sister and performing a mercy kill on her, succeeding on your first try and moving on to the Railjack mission, or returning to the Orbiter and making changes to the Requiem sequence. Repeating the previous steps ad nauseum till you get all 3 Requiem mods in the right order and perform a successful mercy kill on your sister. You may ask, what does killing Robodoggos have to do with Parvos' sisters, Mello? I honestly don't know myself. It's just the way the game is coded. We play whatever D tells us to anyways. Now for the details. Unlike the Kuvalich system pre-Sisters of Parvos, Kuvaliches and sisters alike now control specific nodes at each rank. This makes it a whole lot easier for squad runs, as a rank 1 sister will always start out on Venus and then progress through a fixed order of planets as she ranks up. Since the entire point for playing missions on sister-controlled nodes is to either encounter her face-to-face or farm for Requiem hints by performing mercy kills on Hounds, which are the new enemy units hired by the sisters to guard their territory, I hope you got all that, then it makes sense to go for longer duration missions in order to increase the likelihood of either of those things occurring, instead of blazing through a capture mission in record time. Remember, you want to encounter as many of those hounds in a mission as possible in order to extract the maximum benefit. Therefore, I believe a survival or mobile defense type mission to be the best picks. But then again, there's nothing stopping you from just camping out in a capture mission for the hounds or a sister to spawn in. So in terms of mission selection, it's more of a preference thing than a rule set in stone. When you do encounter your sister in a mission, you will notice that she has one long blue bar representing shields beneath 3 smaller segmented ones that represent health. Once you get through the shields, each time you deplete one of the health bars, the sister will be incapacitated for a brief period, allowing you the opportunity to go in for a mercy kill attempt. If you decide to do so but have yet to reveal the first Requiem, my suggestion would be to hold off from stabbing her and instead go for the hounds she spawns in with. The reason for this is simple. You have a much better chance of getting your first guess right with a revealed Requiem hint than with a completely blind guess. Sure, luck plays a huge role here, but statistically speaking, it's best to practice a little bit of patience. If one of your mercy kill attempts is successful, a short cutscene will play highlighting a glowing Requiem icon. If any one out of the 3 mercy attempts is incorrect, a cutscene will play showing your Warframe getting whooped by the sister. Immediately after that, she will rank up and then flee. If that's what ends up happening, then simply wrap up the mission, head back to the Orbiter, and make some changes to your Parazon. Either swap the incorrect Requiem mod for another, or rearrange them. Once you're done with that, head back out and hunt for your sister again. If you have trouble encountering your sister in missions, try to stay around for about 5 minutes and also check her rage meter. This has 5 levels ranging from indifferent to enraged, which indicates the likelihood of your sister spawning in a mission to confront you. The only way to increase a sister's level of rage is to kill more and more hounds. Keep note that killing hounds belonging to a sister other than yours during a squad hunt, for example, will not increase the rage meter, but it will still progress in terms of murmurs. Of course, if you want to force your individual sister to spawn immediately without any of the effort required, then allow me to introduce you to the Requiem Ultimatum, a beacon-like gear item used to lure Kuvaliches or sisters. It has a 25% chance to drop upon defeating a lich or sister, so it's kinda irrelevant for relatively new players, but some of us more experienced boyos had this sent straight to our inboxes. Check your inventory just in case. Oh, and about those hounds, if you have a strong weapon modded for magnetic, they shouldn't really pose much of a threat. Even with the innate 25% damage reduction, they also have a 5% chance of dropping Requiem relics. Also, did I mention that you'll get taxed for completing any mission under the influence of a sister? It's not something of great concern to players like me, or anyone really. The sisters just think it's cool to steal about 90% of your credits and then brag about it after every mission. But Mello, what happens if I complete all the missions on a sister-controlled planet without encountering or stabbing her even once? She'll still level up and move on to the next planet, just as if you had performed an unsuccessful mercy kill. Eventually though, you will get the Requiem mods in the right order and perform a successful mercy kill on your sister. The thing is, it won't kill her outright just yet, but she'll flee yet again and move to Neptune Proxima for the final battle. It'll start off as a simple railjack mission requiring you to destroy a couple of targets defending the main Corpus ship that you're supposed to board and fight your sister. Once inside said ship, simply make your way to the marker and immediately look for the sister-controlled specters. One of them will be a hound, which requires you to perform a mercy kill to properly eliminate. Make sure they are all dead because otherwise the sister will remain invulnerable. This entire fight can get really annoying if you're going in solo. Some sort of crowd control strat is highly recommended. Whether it's a Magus lockdown or Warframe abilities such as Hildren's Pillage, you're gonna want to keep the enemy hordes at bay because losing focus of your sister can prove quite costly here. Trust me, they regen shields like crazy, and if you're fighting in rank 5, you cannot afford to take your eyes off the sister. When you do finally get your sister down on her knees though, giggity, you'll be presented with the option to either convert your sister into a potential ally or to vanquish her ass. Ideally, you decide well before the final encounter, but if you're having second thoughts, you're given about 20 seconds to make the decision here. Conversion earns you back all stolen credits and your sister's Ephemera, if she spawned with one. It'll also allow her to randomly join you in missions as an ally, and she'll also be eligible for hiring as a Railjet crew member. I believe converting a sister also opens up the option of trading her like you would Rivens in the dojo, which is a decent way to make flat if you got one with a desirable bonus element or Ephemera. Vanquishing, on the other hand, will earn you back all stolen credits, the sister's signature tenet weapon, Ephemera, and her hound, which can be claimed at the Foundry. Vanquished sisters are also guaranteed to drop one random hound component blueprint. If you kind of feel uncomfortable about forever eradicating your sister, then don't worry. All generated sisters will be immortalized in the codex under the universe tab, so you can sorta visit her from time to time if you'd like. If you've made it all the way to the end, I really hope this video was helpful to you. For members of the community here, I apologize for how long it took to put this guide together. I realize that after multiple do-overs, it's still probably not close to perfect, but hopefully it was worth watching at least. Just want to put out a gentle reminder as well that if you've made it all the way here and did find this video helpful, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. As always, feel free to leave feedback down in the comments. There will be more videos to come in the near future, so till then, I'm gonna just go to bed. Take care, you guys, and have a good one.